Tonight on NewsWatch 12 at 6, we're continuing our coverage of the investigation of the West Coast Game Park Safari as Bandon police have arrested the owner of the park. And amid federal funding cuts, many have raised concerns about resources heading into fire season. What local representatives and fire officials have to say about those resources.
Degrees in Medford and Grants Pass. It's even hotter weather is in store for us later this week. I'll have the details on exactly how hot coming up.
Live, local, late breaking. This is NewsWatch 12 at 6.
Many have referenced the prison system as a revolving door, but one organization is fighting this, helping to keep prisoners out of the system through nature. Thanks for joining us for NewsWatch 12 at 6. I'm Haley Gravitt. NewsWatch 12's Rocky Walker shows us the work of the Freedom Farms.
These plants you see right here, this is bok choy in bloom. It's getting ready for the next generation of a harvest. And this right here, these are turnips getting ready to be harvested and sold at the local farmers market. All of this work being done to help reintegrate former prisoners into society.
I do struggle on a daily basis with, oh my gosh, I lost 16 months. Like, what do I need to do to make up for that? And there isn't anything really I can do. Working in a setting like this and this type of work in general forces you and teaches you to be more present.
Growing, harvesting, and watering plants. This is what Lindsay McNabb spends her days doing now. But just 6 months ago, she was in prison.
Where I was at, we didn't really even get to see outside. There were no windows and things. So that in and of itself creates a lot of emotional, mental anxiety and stress.
In prison, she was in a garden program, which helped her cope. And once leaving, she found Freedom Farms, a nonprofit farm that helps transition prisoners out of the system into the community.
These are individuals that have been isolated, that have been banished from society.
Teaching them skills in agriculture as well as in coping with life outside of prison walls.
It's such an important thing to bring to our participants because they don't treat themselves as sacred at all. They treat themselves really badly, really poorly. That connection theory brings out that sense of sacredness and that you are sacred also. And so you can treat yourself a little better than you have been treating yourself.
And the success can speak for itself.
Every person that's come out here so far hasn't returned to prison.
I've kind of gotten a second chance in life and was able to get back on my feet and gain some direction. And
in their work, they change the stigma behind former prisoners, bringing them to local farmers markets, showing that they are members of the community.
People just look at you a little differently. There's a lot of barriers presented that weren't before. And so getting to see this group of people who is just excited to interact with you and wants to know more about you, and it's really great to have that opportunity.
And it prepares them for a future where their life in incarceration is behind them.
You're just kind of treated like an animal, you know, just in a cage. And so getting back out here and just starting over and living life, man.
In Jackson County, I'm Rocky Walker.
And Medford hosts one of those farmers markets that the Freedom Farms partakes in. Right now, we're taking a beautiful live look out at Medford, where we broke 90 degrees for the first time this year. And Storm Tracker 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman here to tell us that heat is going to stick around for a couple days, huh, Matt?
It's going to stick around, and it's going to get even hotter later this week. Out there now, though, lots of sunshine on this Tuesday. Let's take a look at some of these temperatures. 91 degrees in Medford. It's 90 right now in Grants Pass and in Selma. 88 degrees in Cave Junction. Cooler at the coast, though. Northern California, we're up to 87 in Montague as well as Weed. 83 in Mount Shasta. It's 93 degrees in Happy Camp. East of the Cascades, most spots getting into the low 80s. 80 in Paisley, it's 81 in Chiloquin, and 83 degrees in Klamath Falls. This evening in the Rogue Valley, it's going to be a very pleasant evening for maybe a walk. A temperature still in the upper 70s, even by 9 o'clock, and then right around 71 degrees at 11. Sunset tonight is at 8:38 p.m. Tonight will be milder when it comes to temperatures, down to 56 in Medford and Grants Pass, 47 degrees in Klamath Falls. Marine layer clouds and fog pushing in along the coast, but it's going to be another very warm day tomorrow inland, and we'll be seeing at least a slight chance for some showers and thunderstorms, mainly along and east of the Cascades. Expect winds to be pretty breezy for most inland areas tomorrow afternoon, up to about 88 tomorrow in Grants Pass. Warmer in the basin, up to 88 in Klamath Falls, 91 in Wairika. We'll take a closer look at your Wednesday forecast and when that hotter weather looks to move into the region later this week coming up.
And fire officials say Southern Oregon is well positioned heading into fire season with staffing levels on par with last year. Oregon Department of Forestry, the U.S. Forest Service, and BLM say that they're coordinating closely to respond quickly to any fire. 22 acres have burned in 2025, and ODF is keeping them as small as possible. The National Weather Service warns that hot and dry weather could lead to a tough summer ahead.
I do appreciate the science branch and the informed discussions that we have with those folks, but I really try and make it not be a distraction. Being flexible and able to pivot with different funding streams and mechanisms is really what the success rate is.
And Senator Wyden says that just one sign federal agencies are stretched thin. He is pushing for more resources, including expanding wildfire mitigation efforts and youth fire crews. Leaders say community awareness and preventing human-caused fires will also play a key role in keeping the region safe. And training is underway this week at the Rogue Valley International Medford Airport, where firefighters and first responders are running through simulated emergency scenarios. The 3-day drill includes live fire, heavy smoke, and rescue operations, all designed to test how quickly fire crews can respond when disaster strikes. The last time this training happened was at the Medford Airport back in 2022.
Jet fuel gets going, burns at 1700 degrees, where aircraft fuselages are made of aluminum that melt at 1200. That's why the ARF truck has to be on scene of the call within 90 seconds.
The training is required annually by the FAA for all airports with aircraft rescue and firefighting services. Instructors say realistic practice helps crews sharpen their skills and stay ready because in a real emergency, every second matters. Coming up on NewsWatch 12 at 11, we have exclusive GoPro footage from one of the firefighters during training today. And continuing our coverage of the investigation at the West Coast Game Park Safari in Bandon, we're now learning that illegal drugs, guns, and more than $1 million was found. The South Coast Interagency Narcotics team found 80 grams of meth at the scene during the initial investigation, leading to additional search warrants targeting controlled substance crimes. The search revealed 44 guns, 8 grams of cocaine, and roughly $1.6 million in cash, checks, bonds, and certificates. And this morning, the Bandon Police Department arresting the owner of the West Coast Game Park Safari in connection to that investigation. 52-year-old Brian Tenney is in the Coos County Jail on charges of meth possession, manufacturing, and attempted distribution. This investigation remains ongoing. And tomorrow, Danny Schofield has a pretrial conference scheduled for her criminal trial. The former Asante nurse accused of diverting patients' fentanyl has not been in court since June of last year. Schofield has pleaded not guilty for 44 counts of assault in the criminal trial. She is currently out on a $4 million bail. There are also 9 civil cases against Schofield that will not be brought against her until this criminal case has been resolved. And 3 people are now in custody after robbing a 15-year-old at knife point, 2 of them being teenagers. The Grants Pass Police Department says the victim reported a 14-year-old suspect held a knife to his throat and then punched him in the throat. Meanwhile, the 15-year-old and 20-year-old suspects stole clothing that the victim had been trying to sell through Facebook Marketplace. All 3 suspects ran. Police say the 2 teenagers and the 20-year-old suspect were later arrested on charges of robbery, theft, and unlawful use of a weapon. Looking at an update, the wolves that we've been tracking throughout our region, California Department of Fish and Wildlife has now confirmed 3 new wolf packs in the state. CDFW has been tracking many of these wolves since 2024, but have only recently confirmed the establishment of their own packs. This brings the number of recognized wolf packs in California to 10. A closer look at these 3 packs can be found on our website with a link to California's wolf tracking system. And new at 6 tonight, the Siskiyou County Sheriff's Office teamed up with California Highway Patrol to teach students how to safely ride a bike on the road. These kids at Montague Elementary were taught how to read road signs, signal their movements to others on the road, and what to do around train tracks. The event is a fun way to drive home safety ahead of the summertime. And while it might feel warm outside, rivers remain cold, swift, and dangerous. Rural Metro Fire's water rescue team says the Rogue River can be especially hazardous. Whether you're rafting, swimming, fishing, or even hiking, it's important to know the risks around the water and how to keep yourself safe. Rural Metro Fire reminding you to keep river safety top of mind when you're out in the summertime. Wear a life jacket, whether you're in the water or in a raft. Always keep an eye on children and make sure they are also wearing life jackets. Never go alone, and make sure you know first aid and how to contact emergency help. And the battle for a red banner continuing in Columbus, Georgia. NewsWatch 12 Sports' Luke Doughton has the latest on Raider softball.
SU Raiders softball at the NAIA World Series facing elimination. Ayla Davies with another masterclass in the circle so far. Through 6 innings, she's allowed no runs and struck out 10 batters. The only runs of this game so far came from a Kennedy Keela 3-run home run in the top of the 6th. In the bottom of the 7th, the Raiders only 3 outs from advancing when Mother Nature strikes. This game has been postponed until Wednesday. I'll have full highlights of the first 6.5 innings coming up in sports at 6:45. The winner will take on Eastern Oregon in the elimination finals.